Hey guys, Eric here. Hey, you know what? I was reading the scriptures the other day, Matthew 14, and there's something really interesting that popped out to me. And I want to read it for you really quick. This is Matthew 14, verses 22 and most of 23. It says this: Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. Now, I'm reading this, and if we're looking at kind of in the context, all this is happening before Jesus feeds the 5,000. So that story where Jesus takes almost no food in, creates enough for 5,000 plus, right, not including women and children, to get fed. So a ton of people. And we're looking now at Matthew, and he's saying, Jesus, after this, he sends his disciples away, and he goes up to the mountain to pray. And I feel like if we have known or if we've followed Jesus through the Bible a lot, we notice he does this a lot. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he does this. In Luke 15, it says this, and this is after the kind of beginning of Jesus' ministry, when he's doing all these miracles. And he's been doing all these things, and it says this, and Luke 5:15, it says this: Yet the news about him spread all the more, so the crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. He often withdrew. And so this is what I was thinking about in my life. Recently, I went on a drive, and sometimes I like to do this. A long time ago, one of my happy places was I'd go out into the woods. I'd drive out there with my truck, and I'd just be out there. And I haven't done that in a long, long time. As you guys probably get, the busyness of life, all the things going on, all the events, and yada, yada, yada. It gets kind of overwhelming in our life sometimes. And I found myself in that moment. And last week I drove out into the mountains. And this was during a really stressful time in my life. Me and my wife got some really hard news. And so I was freaking out in my head. And I drove out there. It's actually me and my dad, but we drove out there and we were walking amongst the trees, these huge, massive cedar trees. And I remember in that moment, I was able to be there and just to be still. And just to say, God, you know what? Amidst all the craziness going on in my life, you are so big and so amazing. You created this nature around you. And I realized that in that moment, it was a lot of what Jesus was doing. Jesus was in the midst of all these people and all the miracles, and it was so much. But even Jesus, the Son of God, had to take time aside and say, hey, I need to be with me and I need to pray. I need to spend time with my Father. And that's kind of what I want to get at, guys. What does our lives look like? I can only imagine it if you're anything like me, and you guys are probably more busy than I am. Your lives are full of stuff crammed into your schedules, on your Instagrams, on your social accounts, trips you're doing, friends you're hanging out with, grabbing coffee, whatever it is. But your lives are pretty chock full. And I think we should probably take a cue from Jesus in this, and me too, especially, like I did. What does it look like for you guys in your own life to take a step back, to separate yourself, to remove yourself from the hustle and the bustle of life, and to just say, you know what? I need time with just me and Jesus. I need time with me and my Savior. And take that time. And it may be hard for you. Like I said, it'd been a long time since I'd been out in the woods. It'd been a long time, but I did it, and I had to consciously make an effort to say, I'm going to do this. And when I did, it was just the most peaceful thing. All the fears and worries of my life kind of melted away. So what does that look like for you guys? What does it look like to step away? Maybe it's, in your room, quiet, all right? Maybe it's like me, going out into the woods. Whatever it is for you, Jesus, I think our life needs to model what Jesus' looks like, right? As a Christian, a little Christ, our life should be what Jesus' is. And if the Son of God is taking time to himself, what does that look like for us? So guys, I want to leave you with that thought. What does it look like to slow down your life, to quiet your life, and to really focus on your relationship with Jesus. Because I promise you, if that happens, you're going to find yourself with a whole lot more peace in your life. All right? So hopefully you guys can figure that out. Thanks you guys for letting me ramble. I hope to see you guys soon. But until then, we'll see you later.